We're gonna run through four products that I was testing over the past couple of weeks, and I'm gonna tell you whether they're a new favorite or whether they were a flop. If they were flops, I'm gonna give you other suggestions. So let's just dive in. If you like these roundups and you wanna keep seeing more and more honest reviews, then take 2 seconds to hit that like button. Makes a huge difference over here, so thank you for that. I don't have a ton of makeup on because I'm going to be applying while I'm talking to you, and you're also gonna see close-up demos as well. Like, there's just gonna be a lot of stuff that you can look at to help you make a better decision, essentially. But as I go through these, I want you to think about one thing. Which of these products would you want to see a solo review on, a dedicated scorecard review for? Let me know in the comments below. I'm gonna tally it up, and that's gonna be a vote, and I will do that review for you. Kind of like a viewer's choice thing, which I really like. Somebody suggested that. So we're gonna start with the Saie Dewy Blush. It's in plastic at this point, which is really frustrating, but it has a giant doe foot as well. There's 25 buckaroos for this guy. I'm not a huge blush person, but one of the reasons why I wanted to try it is because it is supposed to be very natural looking, and it has that lightweight Saie kind of texture, which I usually really like. So I found this to be just that. So it is really lightweight. It has this soft kind of gel consistency. It's not creamy. It's not watery. It's just very gel-like and lightweight. The look overall is very natural. As you can see, like, just centralized there. It obviously looks pretty strong, but it presses in, I think because of the texture of this, it presses in really nicely into the skin and blends nicely as well. You can't see, or at least I couldn't see, and I have foundation on underneath this. I couldn't see this gathering or getting those little pin marks or anything like that, kind of smudging or budging. It just looks like a natural flush on the skin. I usually don't go too big with blush, but I liked this because it really looked natural, and I have the shade Chili here. You can also build it up if you want to. I also, again, am going back to the texture. I think that it lends itself to building pretty nicely without looking like intense makeup on your face. Close up in natural light, skin still is gonna look like skin. There you go on the cheeks. This is also a multitasker. You can put it on the eyes, you can put it on the lip. It's not going to stay very long on the lip, or at least it didn't for me. It did kind of budge a little bit, but it's not really meant for that, so I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it. The finish in general just takes on the finish of whatever was on your skin. So if you have moisturized skin, you might get a little bit of dewiness. This does not add dew. It didn't add sheen. It didn't add mattifying effects to the finish of my skin. It just works with whatever your skin is feeling like and doing that day. It smells like nothing. I just realized I hadn't smelled it yet. Is it a favorite or a flop? It's kind of neutral for me. I wouldn't say it's a flop at all. I actually really liked it, but it's in a plastic container. I've used different things like balms from Tower 28 and stuff like that, also in plastic. There are refillable options that I use instead. I really do like it though. It's just not a favorite or a flop. I probably wouldn't buy it again though. The next is from Ami Cole. This is the Lash Amplifying Volumizing and Lengthening Mascara. This is 19 bucks. Very, very strong price point, which I never see over here in Clean Beauty Land because things tend to get really inflated. It's a beauty brand that's dedicated to creating high quality makeup for melanin-rich skin. Obviously, I do not have melanin-rich skin. I wanted to buy this anyway because I had been hearing things about it. You know how people talk about, or in the product descriptions, they're like, this is gonna add high volume and da-da-da-da-da-da. And sometimes you get it and you're like, I mean, I guess it's better than nothing. This impressed the crap out of me. No joke, this is a very impressive mascara. And when I say impressive, I mean, it might move Ilia. And if you've been following, which thank you so much for following, then you know how big of a deal that is. The formula is not watery, it is not thick, it is right in the middle, it's very creamy. The volume here on just one layer, I'm not even trying, right? I didn't even curl the lash. I never do it. But that's just one layer of volume, and then lengthening is really strong. This is one of those mascaras where I actually feel like the volumizing is just as strong as the lengthening. Very impressive. I did see just a few teeny tiny clumps start to show up, but they brushed right out very quickly for me, and it builds like, oh, it builds so well. It's just wow. It's really good. And sometimes I do this too just to get more lift. I mean, it's crazy good for $19. I'm so impressed, and I had no eye irritation or anything. I'm gonna do the other lash. 100% a favorite that is probably going to make it onto Britt's picks. So yeah. I have been looking for a really good brow gel. I've tried a lot of different brow gels. The Kosas I really liked for a while, but it dries out very quickly. The NYX, I've tried a lot of different brow gels. And so most recently, this is not something you would find on a clean beauty category or area of any website or store, but this is the Anastasia Brow Freeze, and it's a brow styling wax. And it's this little bitty container, and it has all this goop in it. In general, what I was finding was that these would work, but then my brows wouldn't stay in place. Soap brows works for me, but I do feel like that dries out the brow. So I can always lean back on that, but these I really love. I actually am wearing it currently. I use a spoolie brush on the side, and I really just kind of tap it very light. I know it looks ridiculous, but you don't need to dig into this. My theory is that if you use less of it, you're not going to have the brows getting weighted down in any way. And then, you know, you just brush it up. I probably wouldn't be doing this normally because they're already up at attention. And then you have that kind of, you can press them down as well to get the laminated look, but like I don't need to do that. This is impressive stuff. Is it perfect? No, it's not perfect, but a very little bit goes a long way. It's a vegan wax that does have a gel-like feeling to it again, so it doesn't feel like you're running your brush against wax necessarily. It feels like some sort of jelliness is in there. The only caveat here is if I really overworked it or was putting too much on the brows, the finish suffered. It looked like it started to get that kind of like, oh, there's definitely something on your brows holding them there. Frosting or like a little bit of flaking would happen. It wasn't super obvious, but I could see it, and I know that if I went out, you could, it's just like, you don't want to have your brows look like that. Finish would be the one thing that's kind of holding me back from making it a favorite at this point. I'm going to continue testing it, and we will see how it goes, but it does keep my brows in place. And really, like these right here, like these guys right here, those usually just like plummet by the end of the day, and it drives me nuts. So I'm impressed. I'm not in love, but I'm impressed. And then the fourth option that I wanted to talk about is from Elate. This is their cream eye color. I have it in all 3 shades. I'm gonna show you the matte color and then also the shimmer as well. $25 price point is a little bit up there, but you get a glass container. They're so eco-friendly, and you're like, all right, it's $25. Does it work? I've tried applying this with just my fingers. I've tried applying it with a brush first, and then I've applied it directly on. This is more of a subtle, this is the Devote color, I believe. This is more subtle in terms of payoff, so I don't mind applying it directly onto the lid. And it's very lightweight, almost like water. No, it's not watercolor. That makes it sound watery. It's very, very lightweight, and there is a creaminess to it, but it's so subtle. And then you can just sort of press it in. I love it. So let's just get to that part. I love it. The fact that I just put that directly on my eyelid and pressed it in with my finger, and there's no, it looks like it's really well blended. There's no need to bring a brush to that if I don't want to. But yeah, I love this color. It's a great everyday color. If you're looking for stronger pigment, you can build. I would say that it kind of gets there, but it's not really like the most bold look. I'm sure people know how to do it better than I can, but I really, really do like that it's not intensely strong. Then I have the other color, which is Delight. There's a third color that I'm not going to show in this video, but you'll see swatches if I do a full review. This is the metallic sort of golden peachy shade, I would say. So I can put this on top. This is when there's definitely more of a payoff. You'll see more of a payoff. And I like to use the brush on this one, just a little bit. I could press it in with my finger and be fine. I'm not expertly blending any of these, but it's absolutely beautiful. It only has 3 shades, so it's kind of not as strong of a shade range as, say, the RMS Eye Brights, which is one of my favorites, and it's very sustainably packaged. I will say I did just try Gen C, and I really liked that peach color, but I think I would probably pick this over that. It gave just as strong color, unless I was in love with that peach shade, unless I had to have just that exact peach shade. I just think this did an incredible job. Devote has to be one of my new favorites. It's really good. It's like really good. Anyway, I got distracted because I really like it so much, but you can build it up. The fun fact here is I saw 0 creasing. None. 0. And I put stuff on my eyes beforehand. This is me building a little bit. It's nice, right? So good. Which one do you want to see a full review on? Is it gonna be the Saie? Is it gonna be possibly my new favorite mascara ever from Ami Cole? Or Amy Cole. I might be saying that wrong, by the way. I don't know, I need to check. Cream Shadow. A brow freeze. You tell me what you want to see next. If you want to see previous favorites and flops, you can watch that in about 2 seconds. I'll see you right back here real soon. Until then, bye. Hey everybody, why do I feel like this camera is on a tilt? Is that just me? Am I on a tilt?